to the viewers of the Freeman's Facebook page. I am Vanessa Balbuena, the entertainment editor of the Freeman newspaper. We are here at the office of Mandaue's City Treasurer, Attorney Regal Oliva, and beside me is a lovely and newly crowned Miss Mandaue 2018, Gabriella Carballo. Shall I call you Gab? Is that how you're?
Gab or Gabby.
Hi, Gab.
Hello.
First of all, congratulations. It's been 2 weeks since you were crowned Miss Mandaue 2018. How was it been?
It has been a whirlwind of activities, from the Mandaue Gay pageant to just walking around and hearing congratulations from everyone. It has been a great 2 weeks, but it still hasn't sunk in, and I really think it never will. Even after my reign, I don't think I'll ever be able to get over the fact that I have been crowned as Miss Mandaue 2018.
Your predecessors said the same thing to you, right? It will never sink in.
Yes, Miss Rafaela Lewis, she did tell me that she never did sink in for her either, that she didn't feel like she was crowned Miss Mandaue, and if she did, it was already like halfway through her reign that she actually felt like.
How did you and your family celebrate your birthday?
We had a small get-together at our house by inviting everyone who took part in my journey, including my team, which was Kagandang Flores, led by Sir Jonas Forces, and all of his team, as well as my agent from Models Association of Cebu. He was also there because he was very supportive too.
Miss Mandaue is your first major crown outside of school, right?
Yes, my first major crown.
Why Miss Mandaue?
Because of my strong roots, my strong family roots here in Mandaue. The Saniza clan is one of the largest, if not the largest clan in Mandaue City. So because of this, I not only wanted to make them proud, but to bring them closer. With an immense family like ours, it is so easy for us to all lose touch, especially over the many different generations that we have. So through this, I wanted to bring us closer, as well as my grandfather. He served here in Mandaue as well. He was a public servant here, and
Can you mention his complete name?
Attorney Ramon Saniza.
Okay, alright. We predict that this is just first of your many major crowns. You're just 19 years old.
Yeah.
Was it everything you expected it to be?
It was more than I expected it to be. I'm like me, growing up playing sports. I'm very competitive. One of my weaknesses actually, which I was asked during the whole journey of the pageant, was I mentioned that my biggest weakness is comparing myself to other people. And so when I thought I'd be joining a pageant and being with all of these other beautiful girls, I definitely felt like, oh, maybe this will affect me in a negative way. But the reality is all of us are so close and we still talk, even though it's been 2 weeks, and we hang out, we make plans. And I think my co-candidates and the friendships that we made were the biggest and best part of this whole journey.
What's your biggest takeaway?
Yeah.
The 11 new sisters
Yeah.
that you gained. You were one of the tallest, right? If not the tallest.
I
of the 12?
was second to the tallest.
But still, you were still afraid that you were going to compare yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think because everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and definitely I always see people's strengths over their weaknesses. So comparing theirs to mine would obviously affect me in some sort of way.
Even now that you're the crown Miss Mandaue, you still have that habit of comparing yourself to others?
Yeah, the crown did not change the way that I see myself, other than the fact that now I can walk in a mall without looking down anymore. I can look straight, I can stand up straight, my chin can be up. I'm proud of who I am, but that doesn't mean that I don't compare myself to others.
Well, what are some of your insecurities that you tend to compare yourself to others?
Actually, surprisingly enough, when I was younger, definitely being tall is such a big insecurity.
Really?
Because that's
Would love to be you.
Being tall, I have a slouch, and this slouch is most likely caused by the fact that I wanted to fit in with everyone else and be at everyone else's levels. I would really I wouldn't sit up straight.
But you grew up in the United States,
yes,
right?
So but I was still one of the tallest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, do you have plans of joining, Binibining Cebu after? Will you be automatically the Mandaue representative for the upcoming Binibining Cebu?
I know that Attorney Regal mentioned that whoever wins Miss Mandaue is not automatically the representative for Binibining Cebu. And for me personally, I do want to focus on school for now. It was already so hard balancing Miss Mandaue with school. I had to miss a few days. Some teachers have spoken to me saying, oh, you really need to go to class, which I do go to class. I've missed class only a few times. But I really think that, especially because it's the final stretch, the last half of nursing for me, 3rd year and 4th year, is so important for me to really focus on school for the next 2 years.
Did you have to go to school a day after your coronation?
No, I didn't, because my dean had said that, or my mother had gone to visit the dean, right? And he asked her, would you like the day after the coronation to be an excused absence as well? And my mom said it depends on the outcome. So because of the outcome, because I'm wearing this sash right now, that is why I did not go to duty on Monday.
Okay. Gab, I remember seeing you for the first time during the Miss Mandaue Media's Choice event. At first, when we were grilling the candidates, you were kind of silent at first, while a lot of your co-candidates were stepping forward. And then I noticed that you kind of had a stuffy nose, and then later on you were starting to answer the questions. And I think in my head I was kind of labeling you as the silent killer because you were quiet at first, and then during the end part, you're answering the questions, and then you went up a notch in my rankings as one of the judges. The same thing during the coronation night. At first, you didn't win any award during the first step. Then later on, it was Gabriella Carballo continuously. So yeah, how did you feel at first when it was other candidates winning the other awards, and then later on?
I definitely I wasn't surprised just because I know that all of the candidates are so strong, especially the ones who did win. These are people that I always saw as really big competition and tough competition. But I always told myself, there's still so many other awards, and hopefully I would get them. So it wasn't until I got Best in Production Number, which I really, really wanted, because I really liked that dance. Really, really liked that dance. And I enjoyed practicing it all the time, and I enjoyed performing it as well. So once I won that, then I told myself, from here, I can only become better for all of the rest of the show.
It was during the second set of awards that you won all three, right? How did that feel?
So the first one, I was very shocked, and then the second one, of course, I was still shocked.
What were those awards again?
Miss Sky Cable and Miss Mandaue.
Okay.
And then next one I think was Best in Runway, and after this I was when I had to walk back to the other candidates, I was like, oh gosh, should I look at them in the face? I feel bad. I took everything. Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel at that point that I think I haven't seen that?
Not yet, just because I know that Miss Mandaue and Miss Sky Cable don't really have much. They don't have much bearing on who wins. It's the Best in Production Number, Runway, etc. So from there, I still thought it's still anyone's game. And even if I did win all of them, people in the back were already congratulating me, and I told them, don't say anything yet. Don't congratulate me until the final result comes out.
And then you went on to win major awards, Best in Evening Gown, right? And then what else?
Best in Evening Gown.
A lot of awards. Q&A. Can you tell us about Q&A? Because that's one of the most nerve-wracking for the candidates, but for us spectators, it's one of the most enjoyable to see whether you can answer or not. So how was the casual interview, and then later on your final Q&A? What was it in your head?
I liked the casual interview because it allows you to relax on stage. You are in a casual setting even though you're in front of so many people, and to just ask questions about you. So they weren't that hard to really think about. You just be yourself and show the judges who you are through a very casual interview. But then through the final Q&A, because I was the first one who had to answer, I definitely felt like there was a bit of pressure, not only because I was first, but because being first, then if someone answers really well after you, maybe people will start thinking about them rather than you. So, but really all in my mind at that time was to give the best that I could and not worry about anyone else's answer, because I think that would have affected the way that I did answer. Which I did stutter a little bit in my answer, but I really just wanted to put my points across, and I wanted people to know that I'm very sincere and very honest about what I do want to do with the city, like my advocacy and stuff like that.
Okay. Going back to the casual Q&A, you mentioned being passionate about slam poetry. Where did that come from?
In high school, I had a really great English teacher, which I hope she'll watch this.
Did you go to high school here?
Yeah, I did go to high school here. Since I was always quiet when I was younger, I started writing maybe around middle school, so back when I lived in the United States. And then one of my closest friends showed me a video of slam poets doing what they do best, slam poetry, and I would listen to every single word, and I really felt everything, and I thought, well, if I can write, I should also be able to do this as well. So I started trying to play with different metaphors and try to see what I could come up with, and I submit it to my English teacher in high school, and she would tell me, okay, like maybe change this, maybe work on this, like this other part a little more, and eventually I came up with one of my first ones, and I posted it on my SoundCloud, and people reacted to it. So I thought, okay, like this is what I want to do. And also, people always wondered why I never really get mad. I'm not the type of person to get angry, and I think a lot of it's because I write all of my feelings out, so I don't have much negativity left in me to really project.
Most of your pieces are about love. The sad kind or the happy kind?
The sad kind. I actually have a very hard time writing about happy things. Since happy things, you want to feel it, you don't want to let it go.
Looking at you now, I just realized that you have a similarity to Maxine Medina. And is that one of your goals in the future? Miss Universe Philippines?
Of course, yeah. For sure. And maybe when I was younger, if I would have said no, I don't want to do that. But now that, especially because I have the Miss Mandaue crown, then I'm starting to believe in myself more that I can get something like that, hopefully.
Now let's go to the final Q&A. If given the chance to rethink your answer, would you have chosen the same thing, the Miss Mandaue crown? Because I think if I recall it correctly, out of 5 or 6, there was only one candidate who chose the SK answer, right? Because she said she'll have more than a year range to do her duties. So, if you can answer the same question, will you still choose the Miss Mandaue 2018 crown?
I would still choose the Miss Mandaue 2018 crown because I think that even after my reign, it doesn't mean that I will stop doing the projects that I want to do. I think that Miss Mandaue is just a good starting point for me, and from here, just like during the pageant, from here we can only go upward, we can only move forward.
Why environmental sanitation? Why is that your advocacy?
So this is actually something I'm very passionate about because through my my student nurse duty, I've gone to visit the communities. Here, specifically in Mandaue, Tipolo, the barangay Tipolo. So we go there, and part of our requirements is to choose a family and interview them and determine 3 of their main problems that they complain about. So one very, very common thing was improper waste disposal. And this is very common. I've been to the community about maybe 3 or 4 times, and every single family complains of the same thing. So because I've really been able to speak to actual people about this and hear that this is something that they want to be changed in their city, then I thought I can use Miss Mandaue as a student nurse and as Miss Mandaue 2018 to really make a change.
By improper waste disposal, what do they want to happen? Like regular garbage truck collection?
Yes. Because what they stated was that the garbage trucks are promised to come weekly, but then sometimes it doesn't come for until another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and this is really manifested in the community itself. You see piles of trash, or you see people just throwing trash on the side. So that's why, first of all, what I want to do is classes to really teach them how to dispose of their waste properly in their own homes. And then secondly, I'd want to figure out a way in order for all of the people in the community to help clean up, as well as fix or speak to someone about what's happening with the garbage trucks.
Okay. Gabriella, are you the type of person that when you see someone dispose of their garbage incorrectly, that you'd approach that person and tell them, hey?
I'm actually not, but I would pick it up after they leave.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really the type to I don't really like to disturb other people, but I would let them carry on, but I would pick it up.
Okay. You were born in Miami, Florida?
Yes.
Raised in Orlando? And then you moved here to Cebu when you were 14.
Yeah.
Now, I assume where you come from, it was not as polluted or dirty. So were you culture shocked when you came here in Cebu?
Not really, because I visited here every 2 years since I was about 2, I believe. So since then, I've been able to slowly get the Philippine culture in, as well as my family raised me in a very Filipino home. So I never became too Americanized. I always had the Filipino culture in my life ever since I was little.
But the disparity for you was clear.
Oh yeah, for
growing up in Miami and here in Cebu. Aside from classes or information dissemination, what exactly do you plan to do to implement your advocacy?
So my main thing, which I think was my favorite part of my answer in Q&A, was that I really would drop the glitz and glamour of pageantry and of being Miss Mandaue 2018 to get people together, to get a group together, and from anywhere, not even just from Mandaue, but from other barangays or other cities as well, to really come together and pick up the trash ourselves. Of course, with gloves on, you don't want to get sick either. But really, I want to be present with my court, especially because Nicole Borromeo also has a similar advocacy as me. We really want to clean up Mandaue City ourselves, along with other people.
You mentioned a while ago that after you're done with, if you're no longer busy with classes, you plan to talk to government officials here?
Yeah.
What do you plan to talk to them about?
So we still have to really speak about our plans as a court, as an entire court, because I definitely don't want to do this alone. But we want to do, like I said, classes firsthand, because I think that the first step to making a change is really awareness and education. So that would be the first thing, teaching people the difference between malata and di malata, which bin to throw it in depending on what material it is. And then aside from that, the cleanups as well. And then from there, really trying to make this a community effort.
You do realize that you made the vow or the promise to help clean up Mandaue in front of a lot of people, and it's recorded on cam. So if in Tagalog pa wala kang kawala. we will really check if you lived up to that promise once your reign ends. So are you up for the challenge?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm so up for it. I think it's cool now that I have a platform that I can really make a big difference. As a student nurse, I can make a difference, but I think that with this platform, I can get a greater amount of people to really help me. And I think it's really nice if I get all of Mandaue to help me to make a change, rather than just myself.
It won't be your job alone.
No.
Also, the Mandaue Hanans.
It's my job to gather people in order for us to do it together.
Okay. Now, you had mentioned to our entertainment reporter, Carla, when she interviewed you, that you were shy back then, when you were during your elementary years, that you would not, even if you knew the answer, you would not raise your hand in class. Why were you so shy, and how did you overcome that shyness?
I really am not sure why I was so shy. I think I'm not sure if it was maybe how I was raised to just, girls have to be quiet and girls always have to be very poised, proper, very silent. But I'm not exactly sure what changed in me. It wasn't until about 4th grade where our school had a news channel. Like in the morning, it would be like, "Good morning, everyone. Like our lunch is blah blah blah." And I looked at them and I thought, okay, like maybe I want to do that. So I auditioned for it in 4th grade. I didn't get in. I also auditioned for a talent show in 4th grade and I didn't get in. But then for some reason, I just really wanted to try something and get out of my shell. I think I was at that point where I decided that I was capable of doing more. So in 5th grade, I tried out for the talent show again, and I finally made it in, and I performed with my best friend. And then from there, I just kept on wanting to be on stage. We sang Party in the USA. Okay. This was like 5th grade, and that song was like the #1 song on the charts. Okay. And we had like choreography and everything.
How about now? Are you still that shy, young Gabriella, or?
To a certain extent.
Are you totally out of your shell now?
Not totally out of my shell. To a certain extent, I am shy. Like I said, I don't really like bothering people. I like to keep to myself, but definitely if I really need to say something, then I will say something, especially like about my advocacy, like how I really want to change it. Then I really will speak about it and try to do my best to change it.
Gab, you have an aunt who won a title here in Cebu, and that you mentioned also had been giving you tips during your Miss Mandaue journey. Can you tell us about that aunt and what title she had?
So my aunt's name her name that she used here before was Vida Grace Suniza, but now she's married, so she's a Suniza Villanueva, and she doesn't live in Cebu anymore, but her title was Miss Cebu Tourism 1991. And she also won like a few other pageants during her college days, I believe Miss University or something like that. She has all of her trophies are still in our house because we live with my lolo. And so a lot of the tips she was sending me, I would just get random texts from excerpts of maybe some of my grandfather's things that he wrote before about Mandaue or about governments in general, or she would tell me just be yourself on stage and always remember that you aren't vying for a crown, but you're vying to be an ambassador and to be a voice. And I think that's one thing that really, really helped me throughout this competition, striving for the responsibility rather than the crown on my head and the title that I would get.
And what did she message you when you won?
Oh, she told me like congratulations, and And she was so proud of me for everything that I did. She told me that as well, and her daughters even messaged me. And my grandfather actually said, like, I'm so proud, like, his daughter is a beauty queen, his granddaughter's a beauty queen, and so was his wife.
So you're the only two beauty queens in the family so far?
I mean, my mom as well, and some of her other sister, at one point they joined some school pageants. But in terms of, like, pageants out of school, then it was just, the both of us, and I think my grandmother as well.
Your mom was here a while ago, and you can definitely say the beauty runs in the blood.
Oh, thank you.
You're a lovely family. Now, how was childhood back then in the United States? How was life back then?
It was very simple. I grew up in a very suburban household, and I first went to public school in the United States for elementary school, and then I went to Catholic school for middle school until we decided to move here. So I had a very, very fun childhood. I did the cliche knocking on your neighbor's house, visiting them, and just having fun in the afternoon, go biking, go to the park, very things that you would normally hear from anyone.
You were not a target of police for being Asian?
No, actually. I don't really remember any point in time being bullied for my nationality or anything. And also at that point, I think in elementary school for me, which was around early 2000s, bullying wasn't much of a big deal back then as it is today, especially because of cyberbullying, of social media. I think it's more rampant today because of that.
Okay. Why did the family decide to move here, and were you okay with that?
In the beginning, I definitely wasn't very happy with it, just because in 8th grade, this is when you concrete these friendships with people, and everyone's talking about, oh, we're going to this high school or this high school, and normally they're all going to the same high school, especially because we all live in the same area. So then, them saying that and me knowing that I wasn't going to be a part of their lives anymore, we weren't going to be together anymore, I wasn't very happy that we were going to be moving out. However, my mom told me I would never do anything to ruin your life. So we came here, and when I went to school, I made friends right away. So the main reason why we did come here was because my grandfather is 91 now, and my grandmother on my dad's side, she is also she's already in old age. So my parents wanted to come back and take care of them, as well as they had always been discussing moving back since maybe I was in elementary school, but they never decided to do it until that year.
Okay. You went to high school where?
In Para Southwest.
Okay. And did you join school pageants during high school?
They didn't have school pageants, but that's when I really put my heart into volleyball. Volleyball was where most of my heart lied, other than school itself. But I would be in a bunch of tournaments throughout the year. I played volleyball for 3 years straight in high school.
And why nursing?
The main reason is because my mom did nursing at CDU. So that was my main reason. But then aside from that, the practicality of nursing is, it beats a lot of different things. With nursing, I could do whatever I want afterwards, and I could fall back on being a nurse. So I think that I have a lot of job security with this course, as well as it's cool taking care of other people.
What's the toughest case you've encountered
so far? I'm not sure. Every case is different. I think that being in the operating room is probably one of the hardest, yet one of the most fun things, because you really see a different part of the medical field. You really see internal organs. I think the hardest part is definitely all the standing in nursing, just in general, all the standing that we do. Even today, I was standing the entire day and having to wear heels now. It's still painful.
And you are aware, though, that in the Philippines, nurses aren't valued as much as abroad. As someone now with a platform, as Miss Mandaue 2018, do you also plan to be a voice for them? Because Filipino nurses are underpaid but overworked.
Yeah. I think that I would definitely want to speak about it sometime. That's nice that you mentioned it as well, so it really gets me to start thinking about it even more. I think that that's probably a big reason why a lot of Filipino nurses end up going to the States or going to other countries. And it would be nice soon that Filipino nurses actually decide to stay here. If we could make the environment for a nurse here good enough, I think it'd be nice to say that I graduated in the Philippines and I stayed in the Philippines.
Okay, let's go to the lighter side.
Okay.
A lot of your male admirers right now would like to know if you are single.
I am
Or
not
in
single.
a relationship, but are you open? Are you allowed?
Oh, like my parents?
Yes.
Oh, they have to. No, because basically my current boyfriend right now, they like him, and
okay. So you're not
he's
available.
I'm not, but I am open to being nice to everyone. But yeah, my current boyfriend, my parents like him, and I think because of that, that's why they really allow.
What about this guy attracted you?
His personality. Yeah, because we both came here for college, and he's from New York, I'm from Florida, so we had some common ground there. And then when we spoke,
You were childhood friends?
No.
Okay. How did you meet?
We met through college in chemistry class.
Oh, okay. He's American?
Well, he still am like me.
Okay. How long have you been in a relationship?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to hear. Someone is happy. Okay. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for your Miss Mandaue journey? This is now your chance to do so.
Okay. So there's a lot of people that I would like to thank. I made a really long Facebook post about this, but I will tell you all again. So firstly, my family is the main reason for me getting the crown. With winning Texters, with the Smart Texters choice, my family even though there was one point in time in which me and another candidate were really like battling to be Texters choice, my family it was all in their hands. They made Facebook groups. Even the night before the pageant, they all got together at my house and were all texting for me. So yeah, my family is the number one thing that I would like to thank, specifically my mom, my dad, and my little brother, as well as my grandfather and my uncle, who were the main sources that really were spreading to everyone, like, please vote for Gabby, and telling them that I was joining this pageant. So secondly, definitely my team, my Kagandahan Flores family. So this includes Mami Jonas Borses, as well as all of his team, and my co-candidates who are also part of KF, Phoebe Godinez and Shariza Espargo, who are also in KF with me. My agent of Models Association of Cebu, Tito Chikoy, and Tito Roger, thank you so much for always backing me up with everything that I do, even aside from the beauty pageant world, in the modeling world as well, and even with school, thank you for supporting me. To the 11 other candidates, thank you so much for, even though the competition was so stiff, thank you for always treasuring our friendship over anything else. And I hope that we will all continue to be friends and hang out more, even if the pageant's already over. Next would have to be definitely extended family as well, from all over the world, from Iceland, from the United States, from Australia. They really all came together for me for this. To God, of course. I think I grew a lot closer to God than I was before through this pageant, praying for good health, praying for all of us to not trip during the show or during anything, for no injuries during the fitness day. So yeah, I really think that one thing that I brought home was greater faith in God. And to all of you guys, to all the press who have been wanting to get to know me, it's nice that people want to hear about me and about what I believe in, and they are serving as not only as Miss Mandaue. Miss Mandaue 2018 is a vehicle for me, but the press is of course another vehicle for me to spread word about what I believe in. And if there's anything else, I will let you know if I have to thank you. But there are so many people that I have to thank, it's insane.
Is it true that you discovered you had a cousin among your co-candidates?
Yes, I did.
Which one?
Mary Ann Antigua.
And how did you discover that?
Actually, well, it was really like my grandfather, he tends to know every single family connection that we have. So he had told me, because he was asking what are the names of the other candidates. And so once he heard her family name, he was like, oh, we're related to them. It turns out, maybe 2 years ago, we were actually at the same family party, but I just never talked to her.
Gab, a lot of viewers now, especially those who are aspiring to be like you one day, would like to know what does it take to win a crown? What will be your message or advice to someone who would like to be a Miss Mandaue in the future also?
I think the biggest thing is really to be true to yourself, to never forget who you are. Throughout this whole journey, even during practices, I've always been the type to be very simple I generally don't wear that much makeup. I generally wear very casual clothes on a daily basis. So it even showed during my practices. Sometimes I would be the only one wearing athletic clothes during dances. Everyone else would be very dressed up. Or I would only be wearing foundation, eyebrows, and lipstick, So I think that being true to yourself not only shows your other candidates who you are, but also shows the organizers who you are, that you aren't trying to be anybody else, and that you are comfortable in your own skin with whatever you're wearing, however much makeup is on your face, and whatever you're saying, or however you're performing. It's just, the biggest thing is to stay true to yourself, especially after you get the crown.
Thank you so much, Gab. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for this episode, Miss Mandaue 2018, Gabriella Carballo. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Freeman Conversations. Once again, I'm Vanessa Balbuena, the Freeman's Entertainment Editor. Join us in our future episodes.